Welcome to Leads and Leverage, Real Estate Team Leader Lounge, where success in real estate meets passion-driven leadership. I'm your host, Tyler Gibson. I'm an entrepreneur, real estate team leader, and investor, and I'm thrilled to have you join us in the ultimate hub for real estate excellence. In this exclusive lounge, we're diving deep into strategies, tactics, and stories that fuel the success of real estate teams. Whether you're a seasoned pro looking to take your leadership skills to new heights or an aspiring entrepreneur ready to build your own powerhouse team, this podcast is your go-to resource for insider insights and actionable advice. Get ready to hear from top experts, industry pioneers, and real-world achievers who are making waves in the real estate world. We'll explore the best practices, share invaluable lessons learned, and equip you with tools you need to thrive in today's competitive market. Welcome to the lounge, where leaders are made and success is earned. Come on in to the Real Estate Team Leader Lounge. Hello and welcome to the Leads and Leverage Team Leader Lounge podcast. I'm so excited to have Biagio Montaiuti, which I think I said that correctly, with me today, who is a team leader for a global commercial real estate team. And we're excited to hear more about him. Welcome to the show, Biagio.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm so excited to meet you and to learn a little bit about your journey. Now, obviously, from your name, it doesn't sound like a typical American name. Where are you from? And tell me a little bit about your background when you got started in real estate.
Well, I was born and raised in Italy, obviously from the name and the accent. But actually, the accent could be deceiving because I've been living here in Orlando since 1984. So it's over 40 years that I live. No, it's about 40 years that I live here in Orlando, in Florida. And what we do, we work on commercial, but a little more different from what other people in real estate do. Most of them stay in the local area, and instead we work more on a global scale.
That's incredible. Tell me a little bit about your team. You lead a team, I think you said it's called the Global Alliance team, or does it have another name internationally? Tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, we work under two different brands, let's say. That one is the Global Alliance Commercial, which is the one that does here in Florida. They do commercial transactions and business transactions. And the other umbrella is the BT Global Commercial, which is we dedicate only to hospitality, so the purchase and sales and consulting for hotels around the globe. So we work with hotel chain, and high-end individuals.
That's incredible. Have you always worked in the commercial space in those larger projects, or was that a transition at some point in your career?
No, at least residential. I had another business, very, very good business until 2008. Obviously, in 2008, many things have changed for many people. And I had to rebuild myself, recreate myself. So the knowledge of what I knew before and what I learned after together practically. But I did start with residential. I became a top producer in residential. But then I decided to do the jump to the commercial side. And honestly, it has been going pretty well. Obviously, I think a little bit max. I don't limit myself to one space. So
sure.
And I'm trying
cool.
to teach the most important part. I'm trying to teach my agent also to be open-minded that way too.
Well, tell me a little bit about that. So how big is your team and how many countries do you guys currently serve?
Well, right now on my team, I have 5 guys. I'm very selective. They have to be willing to work and put in the time to do it. If not, that's it. So I'm very selective on that. So I have 5 very good guys. And the amount of countries that we serve, I can tell you where we have listings right now, which are here in the United States, obviously, not only in Florida, but in other places in the United States also. We also have them in Brazil. I have 2 hotels in Copa. We have them in Italy. So we have them in Spain and in France also. So we have listings a little bit all over the world.
Wow, that's incredible. So where did you go and find these team members? I think for a lot of team leaders, when they get started, they're not really sure how they get team members. What have you found to be successful in finding these team members? And you said they're all good guys and you're very selective. So I'd love to hear a little bit about some of that.
Well, yes. First of all, the guys and girls. So let's see. Yeah, right now.
People, yes.
Yeah, we have exactly people. But the thing is, really, I have quite a few people that come to me and I interview them and see also what is their mentality, how willing are they to grow and to understand the different concepts of real estate. So that's the main key. It's on the personality of the agent and the open-mindedness of it, So it's true that we all have different personalities. So I have some, let's say, Tony Robbins typical personality. I'm a D personality, right? 99% D personality. But I have a lot of C personalities also on a team, as much as I have, all the in between. But the main thing is for them to be willing to see a little bit bigger picture. We don't need to be locked down in doing just Orlando or neighborhood or things like this. We can work on a bigger scale. Because obviously that they're coming from commercial, a lot of the things that we do, especially in the hospitality side, there is a completely different lingo. There's a different language, and there is a different way of operating with it.
Yeah. So speaking of different language, did you go out and seek special designations or trainings in order to get started in the commercial space?
I don't have any designation. Actually, no, I did one when I was in residential, but it's the only designation. To be honest, I never found a use for them. For me, or you know how to do it or you don't. I don't need a piece of paper to let me know that I can. I'm more fashion. I'm not 21 anymore, so I learned in my life certain things and I like to apply them. I don't need somebody to certify that. But that's my opinion,
Yeah, no, I'm kind of the same way. I think the public sometimes likes to see that, but I think that if you have a track record of experience, it likely is not going to matter. And I think when you work with the public, the biggest thing is that they trust you. And, if you have a track record of being honest and integrous in the way that you do business and you have good referrals, then I don't know that a certification or a designation really matters. I'm in the same boat with you. So.
And that is actually, you touch a very strong point there, because we like to work open book, also earn the trust of our clients. And that's why I think that you work in residential, you work commercial, you work hospitality, whatever you work, the base of real estate is always the same. It's the relationship that you have with your client and the trust that he has in you. He needs to have a trust in you.
Yeah. No, I love that. So the show is called Leads and Leverage. So I'm always curious to ask people if they've implemented any forms of leverage in their business, whether that be assistance or AI technology or anything like that. Have you done anything to implement in your business that's created some leverage? And what did you find to be most effective?
Well, to be honest, I use mostly, it's not that I use them, we're a team. So we work with the agents. Everybody, each one of us has some tasks that they need to do. And it's important that they stay on those tasks and they follow up on those tasks. That's one of the main requirements. We really don't have that much of let me put it this way. It's so specialized, it's so particular that before we teach an assistant to do something that we do, it will take 6 months for them to understand, to learn it. So we do it ourselves within the team. And tell you what, the guys do really a good job. They do a really, really good job. So, yeah, obviously, sometimes we use some AI, some, let's say, ChatGPT and things like this, but that's the extent of it.
So are you saying that when you guys are working on a deal, you're literally all working as a team on that deal in different aspects with different tasks associated with it? Or is it you and two of the other people working on one particular project at a time and you just split the work up amongst the group and all work as a team?
Well, we do have different tasks before getting to a deal. Then the deal is handled by one person. Obviously, if he needs the help of other people from the team, they will step in, no problem. Obviously, I'm always there to help and supervise. I can tell you right now, example, we have a lot of the things that we do are off market, so we have a confidentiality agreement. But I can tell you that, for example, we have one LOI out for an hotel in Paris that is 600 million. And
Wow.
obviously, yes, just to do a due diligence on that, we require specialized companies that help us, like accounting example, because
Sure.
I mean, it's impossible to do by ourselves, and so on and on. But there is each on a team that specializes in following a certain part of it.
That's cool. Well, let's talk about leads. Do you guys have a special way that you source business and create leads for the business?
I do, and mostly is, to be honest, is through specialized groups and networking, and I use LinkedIn. That's my platform. That's where we get the leads, and to be honest, has been very, very good to me. LinkedIn. I don't do that much of Facebook. It's not at the professional level that I need to be. For residential it's fine, but for this not. So that's what we rely on, is LinkedIn most.
That's incredible. Could you elaborate a little bit on that? Are you just doing cold messaging, or is it more of an attraction methodology?
Well, let's say that normally, because yes, before I used to do cold messaging and now and create a network. Right now I have a network of about 19,000 that are in the industry, 19,000 people. And every day I get 5 or 6 connections asking me to be part of my network. So, it worked by itself. Now it's working by itself, actually. I got to a point where it works by itself. And to tell you the example, just yesterday, I was doing an agreement with a top hotel chain, a brand. Well, actually, it has 19 brands underneath. And we were doing an agreement yesterday, initial agreement on how to work together. So the leads are coming from here. And obviously, I pass them to my agent. If it's a whole hotel chain, then I handle it because it's a little bit bigger. Yeah, it works.
Yeah, no, that's awesome. I imagine that converting this type of business from a prospect to a client is way different than residential real estate. Tell me a little bit about that life cycle. Is it a long life cycle? What does the process look like of converting an opportunity into an actual client or contract?
Yes, well, the process is just a little tiny different, because obviously we started with proposing an off-market property to a client. That means we cannot give vital information about it. So address, name, things like this we cannot give, right? So we send general information. Are you interested in this? You do a very strict NDA. From there, we send them the information about the asset. And to follow that, obviously, there is a commission agreement. Because remember, in commercial, there is no commission on the MLS like you guys have. We have to work our commission, right? So obviously the numbers are way, way different. If you talk about 600 million, it's a way different number, right? And from there, we get to an LOI, we do a due diligence. After the due diligence, we'll go on the contract. But this whole process, it can take from, let's say, the easiest one, 3 to 6 months, and then go up to a year easy.
Wow. Yeah, the life cycle is way different.
Way different, but the rewards are also different.
Yeah. I mean, the compensation that you receive for this type of work is much bigger, obviously. Tell me a little bit more about when you decided to start a team. At what point did you say, I need to have more people helping me?
Well, first of all, I did have already a team when I was in residential, and I didn't do that good of a job. It was my fault. Okay. And
I'm curious to know why you would say that.
Let's say that it cost me a lot of money. I did not have the result. I did not vet or push the agents as much as I needed and get what if you want to be part of the team and you want to be me investing in you, you should be give this much in return. I was not that demanding. So I think that was my mistake. When I was
as somebody that runs a residential real estate team, I would love to learn what mistakes you made so that I can avoid them. And I think the audience would probably agree with that. Not that we want you to necessarily tell us all the things that you did wrong, but I think that's fascinating to have that kind of retrospective look.
Yeah, I think that the main thing is you have to keep the agents accountable. And if you don't, then you're missing out.
Yeah.
I will spend, I don't know, $5,000 a month in leads, but if those leads are not called, or if you call them and then you don't follow up, they have no point. There is no point. So it's also you need to have a certain amount of conversion on those leads to be able to be profitable. So you have to keep them accountable. If not, and that's
Yeah.
what I'm doing right now. I learned my lesson.
Yeah. I love that. What does accountability look like for your team today?
Well, they have to do certain amount of calls. So we actually do call also the owners of the hotels, and we prospect them as we do in residential. So there is that part. It doesn't go away because you work in commercial. You don't have to do your calls. Yes, absolutely you do. But we do partnerships also with other companies abroad. We do have property finders around the world that are under contract. So those need to be also trained and followed. And I consider them part of the team, even if they are under a different aspect. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's in different branches, but everybody has his own job, let's say.
That's incredible. Well, I appreciate you sharing that with me. How do you foster a culture of collaboration and excellence within your team?
We keep track, obviously, of the calls that they did, and what are the results, the notes. We have a platform that we use, and with that platform, there is the notes in it and what's happening. Plus, let me tell you the example. Monday, we went to myself with two agents. Why? Because it's also important the learning on site or talking to the owner face to face, and which questions you need to ask and what you're looking for. So I think that actually was a very important lesson. You have to be a little bit hands-on with the agent, right? Especially if they're new into this business.
Yeah, so that you bring up a good point about training. Do you do most of your training like that, where you say, "Come, I'm going to a meeting. You're going to follow me," or "Come sit down next to me. We're going to make some phone calls." What's your style of training?
We do, example, on Tuesday, we do a soft update, 30 minutes on Zoom, the whole team. On Thursday morning, we spend 2 hours and a half doing role playing and calling. So role playing is a very important part, because obviously when in business, we have to go through a gatekeeper very often. So it could be a secretary, it could be front desk manager, I don't know, but we have to go through them, get to the actual owner, and sometimes there is that block. So we need to actually practice a lot on that. And then obviously we do the calls, we do it together, and we correct each other. We say, "Hey, by you said this is not only me, it's also between the team members, trying to make it better between one and the other." And it has to be really a collaboration of the whole team. It's one person can't do it all, and it's creating, for me, it's creating the environment of a real team. And that's on Thursday. And then on Friday, we have on Friday afternoon, we have a recap of the whole week, seeing what happened, who we've seen, what's going on with this deal, what point we are, and all that. So that's how I work with my team.
That's great. So, what advice would you give to somebody who's thinking about starting a real estate team?
Residential, commercial?
Residential, we'll assume, because more than likely people listening to this will be residential.
Right. So residential, I would say, first of all, check, interview the agent and find out if they're really their goal and their desire. One thing is also they have to be accustomed to receive a no. And a lot of people get discouraged when they receive a no. For me personally, what I teach my agents, a no is never a no, it's a maybe. So you revisit that same person a couple months later, you put it in your pipeline, in your CRM, to recall this person and say, "Hey, did something change in that?" So you have that kind of mentality. Don't get discouraged because you receive a no. And one thing I tell them is also, right now, you are at a certain level. If they say no, you're still at this level. But if they say yes, you go one step up. So you only can gain. You have nothing to lose. And so you have to interview and see if they're willing to do that. And obviously that they're committed, because as I said, there has to be an accountability, making the calls, follow up and all that. And they have to show that they do that.
I love that. Well, I really appreciate you sharing that. If people wanted to get a hold of you, maybe there's a residential agent that's got a commercial deal he's way out of his league and they need somebody to help with. What's the best way for people to be able to get a hold of you?
Well, you can get through my email, @gmail.com. That's a very simple one. And obviously I have others with domains. And then also you can get me on LinkedIn, obviously. That's my main platform that I work. Or you can call me on my cell, 407-970-5342.
Awesome. All right. Well, thank you so much. This was a lot of fun. And as soon as we are done recording, I'm actually going to talk to you about something that maybe you guys would be interested in. So
all right.
Anyways, thank you, Biagio. And thank you, everyone, for coming to join us at the Team Leader Lounge today. We'll see you all next time. And that's a wrap for today's episode of Leads and Leverage. I hope you found our conversation insightful and actionable. Remember, success in real estate is not just about transactions. It's about the relationships you build, the teams you lead, and the impact you make in the lives of others. If you enjoyed today's episode and want to stay connected with our community of real estate leaders and entrepreneurs, be sure to subscribe to the podcast and leave us a review. Your feedback helps us bring you more valuable content and guests. Don't forget to visit our website, gpghome.com/leads and leverage for additional resources, show notes, and exclusive updates. You can also follow me on Instagram @real_Tyler Gibson to join the conversation and connect with like-minded individuals. See you next week.